Alright everybody, I'm doing another video review for the pause menu on my iPhone, and I just finished watching a movie called a Serbian film. I've heard about this movie before, but I haven't heard a lot about what it was containing. I downloaded this movie because I wanted to find a disturbing movie. I googled a bunch of different lists of top 10s, top 5, top 50, most disturbing, most horrific, most gory, all kinds of different horror movies. And I got a bunch of them, but this was the one that I decided to watch tonight. If you're interested in watching this movie, I highly, highly warn you that this movie is only for the most experienced film goer in this genre. Now, this isn't gore. This isn't a scary movie. This is a journey into how horror is really supposed to be defined. I mean, you have horror that is Pinhead and Jason and Michael Myers, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and then you have all these other movies that just follow this regime of what is supposed to be scary. Movies like this Serbian film is what real horror is. This is one of the most mentally disturbing movies I've ever watched, and I've watched some pretty horrific movies. This is only for people who got through The Human Centipede 2 without a glimmer. Watched the cesarean section scene in Inside and was like, I could probably use more of that. Watched Cannibal Holocaust with a smile. Movies like Hostel and Saw don't compare. The Human Centipede movies are Disney compared to this. The disclaimers that I can say, I don't really give a shit about spoilers because, frankly, I don't want you to watch this movie, but this is a video online about me telling you not to do something, so of course you're going to go watch it. But this movie has really strong sexual scenes, not like, this is True Blood on HBO. This movie is Caligula with way more intense murder and violence and sexual deviance and rape, and this movie is horrible. I've never given a movie that I've reviewed on the pause menu or on any other thing that I've done a 0. I've always, even if the movie was horrible and I hated it, I gave it a 1 because the scale's 1 to 5. I never would give something a 0 because it's not on the scale. This movie gets a 0. This movie is not applicable for a rating, and that says something, should say something, because I give almost every movie. I mean, I'd watch Soul Plane and still give it a 1. I'd watch Geely and still give it a 1. But this movie has extreme nudity, simulated rape, simulated child abuse. It has simulated newborn rape. It has mutilation, extreme gore, and this movie's horrible. While I was watching it, I posted that I was watching it on Facebook, and I had a few people tell me, stop it now before it's too late, before you can't unsee this movie. I wanted to do this video now rather than tomorrow after work because I wanted to actually tell the people that knew I was watching the movie what my opinion was of it, and it's not much of an opinion. It's more of, I am a human disclaimer for this movie. I don't know why this movie was made. The whole movie is... Alright, the plot. Sorry, I forgot to tell you the plot. A aging porn star legend in Serbia is asked to do one more job. That one more job is promised to pay him and his family enough money to live until they die happily. This porn star has a wife and a son. And the movie that he is told that he's going to be making turns out to be a snuff film. If you don't know what the term snuff film is, it describes a film that depicts actual violence and sex and rape and not premeditated actions. It's not like a movie that's got a script. It's real. This obviously isn't a real snuff film, but there are real ones. So if you do watch this movie, remember that it is fake. Nothing is actually happening, but it does happen in the real world. This is a very drastic, extreme depiction of how human beings can be. And that's what I was talking about earlier with the real definition of horror. And, you don't have to be a nightmare to be scary. There doesn't have to be a monster under the bed for you to be unable to sleep. It's hard for me to actually talk about this movie. I mean, I've watched a lot of bad things. I've watched videos of actual people dying, and I've witnessed a lot of stuff. And this movie, it pans out, and there's certain sections of the movie where things happen, and you have all this negative dead space, and that dead space is there intentionally for you to reflect, for you to pay attention to how you feel. And it's part of that movie that gets you to actually think if you were either in that position or that you're glad that your life isn't that way. But this is definitely one of those section of movies that you have that are set aside, because there's almost no movie like this. And this is something you can throw at somebody and say, well, you've seen it all. You say you want something different. You say you want the extreme. This is it. It's definitely a movie to watch when you say, my life is horrible. It's definitely an optimistic way of proving to yourself your life doesn't suck. But I'm almost done with this review. This isn't art. A lot of people make movies that convey some sort of underlying message, some ending conclusion. I didn't get that from this movie. It just proved to me again with another example of how shitty human beings can be and what level of depravity that we seek. But I give this movie a 0 out of 5, and I highly, highly recommend that you do not watch this movie, but you will watch this movie, and I hope you don't have nightmares and this doesn't wound you mentally. I really hope this movie doesn't fuck you up in the brain. I just remembered that the tagline for Sinister said this movie will fuck a lot of people up, and obviously they haven't watched a Serbian film. Thank y'all for watching, and remember, for any video game, movie news, and science and tech stuff, go to thepausemenu.weebly.com. Thank you very much for watching, and happy Halloween.